Today's episode takes us into the heart of a controversial topic that has been making headlines: the Title 42 expulsions at the border. As we unpack this complex issue, we'll be drawing insights from what's been happening at the US-Mexico border and the political arena in Washington, D.C. We need to navigate through the legal, humanitarian, and public health dimensions of Title 42 and uncover the debates surrounding its implementation to fully understand the situation. Let's dive in and unveil the multifaceted perspectives on this critical issue. But what is Title 42? Why is this relevant now, and how is this related to migrants from Mexico entering the US?
Rules came into effect Friday after a pandemic-era prohibition on asylum seekers known as Title 42 expired.
Now you have to have either have applied for and received a denial of protection in one of the transit countries that you came through, or you have to have an appointment.
So far, it seems to have worked.
The United States Border Patrol has seen an approximately 50% drop in the number of people encountered at our southern border.
I discussed this topic with Mukta, who has been following this update for past few weeks. I am Ankur and you are listening to the News Park. Hi Mukta, how are you?
Good as well. And you?
I'm good too, thank you. So Mukta, today we are discussing this complex issue which has been in news for past few weeks, and it is directly related to the long-standing issue of migrants coming into the US from US-Mexico border.
Yes, a very complex issue. And to provide some context, Title 42 is a provision in the United States Code that allows the government to implement public health measures during communicable disease threats. So the Trump and Biden administration has been utilizing this provision to expel migrants at the border, particularly as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
So if I'm not wrong, under this provision, many asylum seekers have been swiftly expelled to Mexico or their home countries without a proper opportunity to present their case for protection.
New at 5, nearly a week after Title 42 expired, as many as 35,000 people are reportedly waiting on the Mexico side of the border to cross into the U.S. In El Paso, Texas, some migrants have been sleeping on the streets as shelters remain at capacity. City officials there fear another surge could be coming, and for those waiting for asylum applications to be processed, desperation could lead to danger.
So critics argue that this violates the right to seek asylum and deviates from established asylum laws and procedures.
Yes, absolutely. And then this situation further emphasizes the disproportionate impact of Title 42 expulsions on vulnerable sections of of population, including, for example, unaccompanied children. These children are being expelled back to Mexico without appropriate screenings or safeguards, just raising questions about their well-being and access to legal remedies.
That's an important point, Mukta. Various sources also shed light on the lack of transparency and accountability surrounding Title 42 expulsions. And there are reports of abuses, including cases where individuals may have been mistakenly expelled or wrongfully denied the opportunity to seek asylum. This raises questions about the fairness and legality of the expulsion policy.
Yeah, and there's also lack of transparency and accountability, which is of great concern. Like the use of public health measures, as a justification for expulsions could potentially serve as a pretext to evade international and domestic responsibilities and obligations under refugee law.
Yeah, that's right. And on the role of Biden administration in the implementation of Title 42 expulsions, while President Biden promised a more compassionate approach to immigration, Title 42 expulsions have continued, leading to disappointment among immigrants' right advocates and organizations.
Indeed. There is tons of criticism faced by the Biden administration for maintaining the use of Title 42 expulsions, despite evidence that they may not effectively prevent the spread of COVID. And the alternate public health measures could be implemented without sacrificing the rights of migrants and asylum seekers.
That's true. And it seems like the use of Title 42 has become a contentious issue with differing viewpoints. On one hand, some argue that it is necessary to prioritize public health during a pandemic, while others emphasize the importance of upholding human rights and providing access to asylum.
Absolutely, Ankur. And the tension between public health concerns and the protection of human rights is, I can say, undoubtedly a challenging aspect of this issue. But you know what's important? It's crucial to find a balance, which ensures the safety of communities and also fair treatment of migrants, asylum seekers. I think that's much needed.
Yeah, that's in fact what is needed. But there are also reports which also touches upon the conditions and circumstances at the border that contribute to the complexities of Title 42 expulsions. It mentions that there are strains of immigrant infrastructure, including overcrowded detention centers and a backlog of asylum cases.
Yeah, that's an important aspect for sure. And what I feel is that, what we need is a comprehensive and compassionate approach to border management, which is very important, I guess. Like, there should be alternatives to detention. Like, I can give you a lot of examples. For example, community-based programs and, programs which basically, emphasize the importance of expanding legal avenues for migrants to seek protection.
That's what's needed. And there are legal challenges against Title 42 expulsions. Like several human rights and immigrant advocacy groups have filed lawsuits to challenge the policy, arguing that it violates the right of asylum seekers and undermines the US's obligations under international law.
Yeah, there have been many challenges like that. And these legal challenges against Title 42 expulsions, I guess all of these challenges highlight the importance of ongoing debates and efforts to address the concerns surrounding this policy. And what I feel is, all these things points out to a comprehensive review of the implementation and impact of Title 42 on migrants and asylum seekers.
Yeah. But Mukta, as we conclude our discussion, it's evident that Title 42 expulsions have sparked heated debates and raised significant concerns.
Yeah.
Balancing public health consideration and the rights and well-being of migrants and asylum seekers remains a complex issue, right, for policymakers as well.
Well, absolutely, Ankur. And the resolution, I guess, lies in finding a comprehensive and I guess I can say a humane approach to border management. Like, what's needed is to prioritize public health and also upholding of principles of human rights and providing access to asylum, which is, I guess, extremely important.
Yeah, well said. But as we all know, Mukta, this is quite a tricky situation and it's quite tricky to implement, but we can always hope for the best, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mukta, for joining me today. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in for this episode. Title 42 has complexities and tensions surrounding it, balancing public health concerns with human rights and the right to seek asylum. There is disproportionate impact on vulnerable populations, the lack of transparency and accountability, and the ongoing legal challenges. It is clear that finding a comprehensive and compassionate approach to border management is crucial, one that safeguards public health while upholding the principle of fairness, justice, and the protection for those in need. As always, we encourage our listeners to stay informed, engage in constructive dialogue, and work towards finding viable solutions that respect both human dignity and public well-being. Thank you for listening. See you next time.